welcome to H.E.R News International, where it is all things her, where we are educating, encouraging, empowering, employing, and elevating women to move in their purpose, their power, their passion, so that they can proclaim their prophetic destiny. I am your host, Dr. Derashay, the Kingdom Strategist, here to build strategies so that you may birth and expand in your dreams, your goals, and your destiny. I'm so excited to have you here today with me on H.E.R News International. We got an amazing show for you on today with an amazing guest, and we have some powerful information that we're going to share with you. But before we get started, I want you to go ahead and use the power of your share. Go ahead and share this broadcast in your circle of influence, so those that you know can get in on this powerful conversation. You just don't know the difference or the impact that the information that's getting ready to be released today will make in the life of those who are among you. So go ahead and share. While you're sharing, go ahead and like or subscribe, depending on whatever platform that you are on. Wait a minute, I forgot. Gentlemen, don't scroll and please don't change the dial. Here on H.E.R News International, we deal with the principles of God, and the principles are not bound by gender. We do believe that there are some things that you can obtain right here on H.E.R News International. In addition, there are some hers in your life, right? Your mother, wife, daughter, aunt, niece, sister, or any woman that's in your circle of influence. And that you can definitely pass the information to her, because we need you to help emerge her into her prophetic destiny. Yes, we need our men to walk alongside us into the things that God has called forth in our very lives. I'm absolutely excited. Think. I just want to thank those who have already shared. If you haven't shared, go ahead and hit that share button. And while you're there, hit like or subscribe wherever platform that you may be on. I want to share before I bring up my amazing guest. Let me share with you an opportunity for you to gain exposure within your for your business or your ministry. So if you are a entrepreneur, business owner, minister, author, service, or product provider, we would love to give you exposure right here on H.E.R News International. If you're looking for exposure, just go to iamher.fyi/exposure today without delay, so that we can allow you or let you use this platform to get your message to the masses. So we're absolutely excited about having this opportunity for influencers just like you. Now, it is time for what you all been waiting for, and that is this powerful conversation that we're getting ready to have with our amazing guest about leadership. Okay, we're designed, no matter who you are, there's a leader on the inside of you. God has called you to rule and reign in your sphere of influence on whatever mountain of influence that He has called forth in you. And it's all about understanding the leader, right? That you've been called to do, that you've been called to, so that you can make an impact in the lives that are around you, whether you are a stay-at-home parent or you are running a country as a president. Listen, there is a leader within And so there is power within leadership. There's definitely a difference between dictatorship, right, and a one that really truly leads, one that is a influential leader. And so we want to make sure that you move and operate in that influential leadership space that you have been called to. So I'm excited to have this conversation with my guest on today. So let me tell you about this amazing woman of God. She is a strategic partner to CEOs, senior leaders, and frontline managers around the world in India, Europe, and of course, the USA, primarily in the technology, higher education, biotech, and startup space, who are yearning for something more and ready to expand their natural skills and talents to become their most impactful, influential, and soulful selves. As an experienced educator and a three-time CEO with 20 plus years of experience facilitating, training, and coaching leaders in for nonprofit organization, she is passionate about researching everything related to leadership development, mastering the inner game, and giving a hoot about making learning and life funny and fun. Her experience as a NCAA athlete teaching history on the north and south side of Chicago and rural Illinois give her all the perspective you need to soar into your natural gifts. So I want to introduce to the H.E.R News International platform none other than the CEO of Outstanding Women Leadership Coaching, none other than Katie. Katie, I refuse to mess up your last name. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. It's Eades. I would have loved to hear what you came up with.
I refuse. But oh my God, thank you so much for having me out there. Thank you so much for being here with us on today at H.E.R News International. It definitely means a lot to us and the family, and especially what it is that you're going to share with us. So let us go ahead and just jump right in. Now, first thing I want to know, or I would like for our audience to know, can you give them again the name of your business and the purpose or the heart behind what it is that you do?
Yeah. So in January of 2020, I founded Outstanding Women Leaders, our professional coaching and podcast. The podcast was just to give a voice to women leaders who don't have a platform to be heard, and to bring all of your stories to one place. Your stories are inspiring, and women need to hear your story. And the coaching business, I have been coaching my whole life in different capacities. I own a CrossFit gym. I have weighed over 200 pounds and gone through my own weight loss journey. I've coached health and wellness classes. But mostly what I've coached is for women to be able to turn inside themselves and trust themselves, to know how to make decisions in alignment with themselves, to get out of their head, get into their heart and body, and to hear what it is that God has already put on their heart.
You know what? I absolutely love that, because so many people are stuck, and so many women are just stuck in their head, and they do need that strategic plan to help them. Look what I say: push them over the edge, push them right on over the edge, so that they can begin to move in their divine alignment. So I absolutely love that. And so when you decided, or what was that push, or what is your story behind, because every business has a story, right? That truly connects with them. So, what is your story behind, or your behind what it is that you do?
I have been dying for someone to ask me this question, I think, since I started my business. I tell everyone's story, I don't tell my own. And so my story starts all the way back when I was 12 years old and I founded the club. And the club was inspired by the books Babysitter Club, only I didn't take care of children. I was an only child and I wanted friends to hang out in the club. So I named myself president. I had membership fees. It was $1 to join. Listen, it was the 80s. It was okay. $1 was a lot of money then. And it was 50 cents a month to be a member. And the people, so I asked, I got my friends, some of the neighborhood friends, and the school that I went to, my elementary school, would have this carnival where you do a cakewalk. People in the South know what a cakewalk is. I don't know if that's
We do.
good. Yeah, people on East Coast do not know that. So we did they would do a cakewalk. They would have all these games. We'd buy tickets, and it was a fundraiser for the school. So I held that in my backyard. And my aunt dropped off my younger cousins and gave me some money and I gave them tickets and they played these games and did prizes. And we did homework together. And the whole purpose of the club was we made money doing things. And then we held pizza parties and like I did stuff with it. And that was really the first prototype of my business. But I also helped people with homework. It was tutoring. Also, and I assume this is just by happenstance, the diversity of the group that I had. So growing up after school, everyone in that group actually grew up to be a part of the LGBT community. So I feel like diversity in my first club was even like, I just created a safe space for people that weren't like everybody else, who I also happened to not quite be like everybody else, to hang out. And then fast forward, I'm a teacher and I then owned a CrossFit gym. And when I owned that gym, I worked with a Christian life coach. And that really reshaped how I allowed myself to show up. Okay. So working with the Christian life coach allowed me to realign my life to my values, to live my values. And it shifted a lot of things for me. I connected my staff to coaching and realized the value of business ownership and having a coach and having someone to make sure that the kingdom that you're building is in alignment with your inner kingdom that you've already been given by God. That thing has already been built. And we keep tinkering with it as adults. And when I sold that business, packed up my whole life and realized I wanted to live differently, I ran a nonprofit and it was a mentoring program for kids. True relationships, unearth excellence. And so all of those pieces of my journey lead me to OWL, where and I didn't even pick the name. I think one of the best ways to know that you're onto something in business is when other people, just by looking around after a long time of trying to come up with a name for my business, said, "Why don't you name it OWL? You have a lot of owls." And I said, "Well, what will it stand for?" And a brilliant woman named Dana Baker said, "Outstanding Women Leaders." And that is who I've always been supporting, whether I've supported them when they were in high school and now they're 35 and they're working their way up the chain as leaders, or if they are people that are older than me that I've supported through this transition, through retirement, and just being able to hear their heart wherever they are, getting to support former like school principals, because I'm a former teacher, and being able to bring in that leadership for them. I think I've spent a lifetime of learning how to be a leader simply by trying to be myself as much as possible. And being a leader is synonymous with becoming yourself, is a quote from Warren Bennis. And I think that really sums up what I landed on. In my podcast, I'm on season 4, because every season is I level up. So I want you to level up with me and I want you to know. So let's just call it. So how many episodes is in a season? Well, it depends. Season 3 was real short. I leveled up quicker. It was 20 episodes. I'm already at 20 with season 4, but I'm loving this season. I think that's part of leadership, is recognizing what season are you in your life, embracing that season of what is God teaching you, what is here, but knowing how to embrace it internally, not externally.
I love it. Why do you think that it is important for women to understand the leadership within?
Because we're going outside of ourselves, and these people don't have our answers. The only expert on you is you. And when we talk about made in God's image, like, we have these drops of the divine that God gave us, just like him. They're in us. We know they're there. When I shine a light and share for women, they know it's there. They felt it. They've experienced it. They'll tell me stories about it. Great. So now you remember that you're the expert. And when we go outside of ourselves, we find people that want to show us the path that they walked. And that is not the path that God has made for you. It is different. Every footprint is unique on these paths. And when you trust yourself, then you build that life where you take a vacation, but you miss the life because your life is the vacation.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You got to trust the God, the design of God for you, right? And no longer try to or allow people to cause you to come into a carbon copy state, right? Because in that carbon copy state, when people trying to get you to mimic them or be like them, it causes you to lose your value and lose your worth as well. So you guys know I'm definitely major on being authentic.
Yeah, it separates you also from you. You go to a doctor and a doctor tells you something and you just feel like that's not right. And sometimes people go to doctors and they feel like, well, the doctor's the expert. Who am I to even think about what's right? No, you know what is right. And when we learn to listen to our body and the wisdom it's giving us, science now told us there are 40,000 neurons in our heart that independently think, feel, and remember separate from our brains. We know a brain can be brainwashed, right? We know a brain can be trained. The heart is independent. We got to get back to, in ancient Chinese medicine, they say when the soul arrives, the heart arrives. When the heart arrives, then the mind arrives. And when the mind arrives, then energy arrives. We want our soul directing our heart to direct our minds, to direct our energy. We do not want our brains to be directing our energy. Our brains are not designed for that. Our brains are designed for us to tell it what to do, to create ideas, to come up with all these things. But your soul knows the way. I like the image of you to think of like your heart and brain are having a fight about when there's a map and they're like, which way do we go? And your soul is over here like, if you would just be quiet, be still, and know that I am God, I will show you the way.
Listen, I love that, right? Because that's the whole purpose of the Holy Spirit in this specific dispensation that we are in, to teach and guide us into all truths. And he sit in that in the space of our soul to lead and guide us in the truth of God's word, in the divine path that God has definitely declared and for our lives. I know we're always talking about that Jeremiah 29:11 plan, right? That's the way. That's how we get into that space. So now I have another question, of course, because so when you started, I know you said you started at 12. Back then, did you see yourself where you are right now with helping women? When you look back over the path that you've taken, over time, could you just imagine yourself being where you are right now back then?
That's a great question, and it is a yes and no. It's a both and. I think as a little kid, I always saw myself on a stage. And so as I sit here right now, I feel like I'm on a stage as a little kid. But at that age, I think I saw myself as that stage being a classroom, and then that stage being a principal's office. I really wanted to impact young people. Particularly, it makes sense knowing that I have neurodiversity. I just didn't get that diagnosis until older. That this is why I love being able to help connect people to knowledge to help them fill the skill that they're missing. But I did not see Katie owning a gym. I did not see me having a totally different relationship with food or never eating cheese again. Like, no, what I love is that God is hilarious. And if we just really, but what I did see were common threads. every time I was being pulled to something different, I always say 3 knocks. So that is, we need to know our internal patterns, and that you can see that in human design. But I have to hear it 3 times before I accept. And when we live our life to our extreme rhythms, that this is the diversity, that if we can live our life in those rhythms that we naturally know to be true for us versus what everyone else says you should do in order to get there, it allows you to just follow the plan the way that it was perfectly laid out. I mean, if you look at my career and everything I've done, like sometimes I'm surprised that like, oh, I didn't know I needed those words today. Like I bookmarked that experience when I was 22. Ooh, I bookmarked that life lesson. As coaches, we can only take people where we've ever gone before. So like mental struggles, like, oh, I've been checked into a psychiatric unit before. Like let me show up and support you and show you how external medicine doesn't know you internally. You're the expert. You're there to go and get information, but you are the expert, and your life is played out the way exactly as it is intended.
Absolutely. I love it. She said, no, I've seen stages, but different. The stages is different, but you know what? That's just like God. He'll give you, a glimpse of something, and then he'll do exceedingly abundantly above.
And in a way that's bigger than you can imagine. Goals oftentimes keep us so small. So we create strategic plans so that you remember where you want to go, and that you remember that you're not being shown to go that way. That's why we create these plans. We make plans and God laughs. Like, let's laugh with him about where the plan is taking us. And from a human design place, I have one channel in my throat. All roads lead to Rome. All roads lead to our throats and the energy circuits. And that is leadership. So if you would have said, Katie, did you see yourself being president and being a leader when you were a kid? I would have said yes to that. I absolutely did. And now I'm president of Fin City Knoxville, which is a women's networking group. They asked me to be their leader, which is the only way I would ever agree to be someone's leader. I need an invitation.
That's what happened when you emerge in, the leader within, right? Just emerge, it just stands out within the crowd. So quick question here, because I know you help women, right? You give a voice for those, in leadership, and you also help women hone in on the leader that's within them. What is one of the common things that keep women from emerging into the true leader that they are?
Denying like what they really know to be true, really not. Also denying what the gifts our creator gave us. For me to sit here and say, I am incredible at pattern recognition. I have a gift of hearing your heart, and people will tell me that. I can connect dots. Those are gifts the creator gave me. I'm not denying those anymore. To really trust yourself. I think the most common mistake is we buy the books. We read the self-help books. We go out there and try to find the person to, what I love about the self-help world is it inspires ideas, but to be able to go inside yourself is we give our power away. We allow other people's words, other people's thoughts, other people's actions to take our power away without really having to give that away.
I love it. So with that being said, what is a tip that you would give that woman who has given that power away, or looking in so many different directions to really only need to look inward? What is a tip that you would give for her?
Feedback is just information. When someone gives you feedback, they comment on your appearance, they say something about your business, they've experienced your product. It is just information about the person giving it. When someone shows up to your house for dinner and they bring a fruitcake, you say, thank you. And you throw it away, most likely, unless you're a fruitcake eater. And if you get curious, you might wonder, I wonder if this fruitcake just reminds her of her mom, or maybe it reminds you of her grandma, but you don't take the fruitcake personally. Feedback is just information about other people. So when you discover my power, I don't have it, take it right back. Whatever has taken your power away is just information. And you don't have to keep it. You can walk right over to your trash can and you can throw it away.
Listen, I absolutely love that. And I'm going to just reference that right over to the word very quickly. If you guys remember in the book of Genesis, in the beginning, when God, he was coming to the garden to come and talk to Adam, and he could find him not because he was hiding. And so as he was saying, Adam, where are you? And when Adam finally came out, he was like, I was hiding because I was naked. And Adam was like, God was like, well, who told you that? God was like, who told you that? Adam had been in his same state of being since, he was formed and he was made. But all of a sudden, they ate from the forbidden fruit, right? The forbidden tree. And now he's hiding who he's always been. And God instantly knew. He instantly knew. He's like, okay, you had to have had something or the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so he said, who told you that? And so it is the information that we've been given or passed to us that causes us to hide our true identity, right? And so you got to, like she said, look, go throw those things that don't align with the truth. Go ahead and just throw them in the trash. You gotta this word you hear this a lot, or I hear this a lot when they say you gotta learn how to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Right? So you gotta be able to learn how to filter information and know what it is to accept, because what you accept is definitely what you become.
And I also want to say this caveat for the feedback. If God had come in the garden and he said, I'm hiding because my clothes are so beautiful, and I was afraid, God, that because I know my clothes are more beautiful than yours, we can't take the compliments. We have to take the compliments the same way we take the crap, which is it's just information. Don't give your power away by needing validation. Don't give your power away by taking the good and leaving the bad. All of it is information. And when we do that, we recognize that the only recognition and validation we need, positive validation means keep doing that for that person. They want more of it. Negative validation means let that person go. They don't want more of what you have. But when we start really loving the good information, that's also becomes, it's the too much wisdom. It's the too much knowledge. So letting both of those just hang on the tree.
So yes. So listen, at this time, what we're going to do, we're going to get ready. We're going to take a break. And we're going to have a little quick commercial break just for you. And then we're going to be right back, and we're going to let you hear some more of Katie's amazing wisdom from her, so that you can definitely make a decision on how you're going to connect with her in the next steps of what it is that God has given unto her to help women move in the next dimension within the leadership that he has given on to them. We'll be right back here on H.E.R News International. It's time to increase your influence, impact, and income potential by advertising your business, ministry, services, products, books, upcoming conferences, retreats, or courses with the Women of Influence magazine. Visit us at www.woimagazine.com to get your advertisement in today. We look forward to getting your business or event or products exposed. Welcome back to H.E.R News International, where we're having an amazing conversation about the power of leadership with none other than Katie. And so listen, it has been absolutely amazing. I'm here to have her at the show with us. And so at this time, we're going to have our professional moment. And we're going to allow her, give her the stage so that she can impart some additional wisdom unto us. So, Katie, I'm going to give you the stage, and I'm going to go and I'm going to sit back here and listen to the Lord just use you in your lane.
Well, I have to start by saying when we in our first segment there, the way that you connected what I said to the word, that is part of a defined head trait. There is a very specific energetic channel that we share that you have as well. Now, I can't put the word together. That's not my gift. That's yours. But pattern recognition and putting two things together, we share that in common. And what I love about getting to look at your human design chart, I'll throw that in a second, is your personality in this world, the sun that shines out of you, is inspiration. And when I said that to you as I was reading your chart, you said, well, yeah, my friends would say that, but I think that's just kind of how I was designed. And that is the tool I'm going to be showcasing today. God was like, listen, we got to tell these humans how they're designed. They're not doing it right. So human design is a tool that does not require you to believe anything. It's a chance for you to experiment with something that you probably already know to be true. It combines a lot of ancient wisdom with some modern science, and it puts together this beautiful way of looking at your energy. Your energy is beautiful, by the way. You have that same gate of leadership coming off your throat that I talked about. So you naturally lead when you open your mouth. You say, I lead or I do not lead, but you naturally lead others. You have this beautiful energetically defined head in Anja, which means that you think very differently than 70% of the population. And you also, your Anja is defined, so you also process information very specifically. And what's fun about your energy is that you have 2 of the 3 channels in your head defined. So you're 1 channel short of an Einstein. Einstein had all 3. But people with this energy that you have, you're very smart. You're a very brilliant woman. Anytime you see a defined head, you recognize that they're going to think differently. They're going to bring new perspective. And with your gate of leadership, we know that you're going to share with us all of your knowledge. And you're very wise. Part of what human design shows us is also energetically where are we available for conditioning. This is what's important for you to know. In the areas that you're defined, you're more likely to be in touch with who you are. But when you're open energetically, you're feeling other people's energies. And so your open G center is what really stands out to me. And we don't have your full birth chart. So I'd love for you to say, no, that's not me, because we didn't have your exact time. But open G center people, about half of the population will walk around saying, what's my purpose? Where do I go to find my purpose? Perhaps it's over here. Who will love me? Where will I go to find love? Maybe it's over there. Does that resonate with you at all in your life's experience?
It does.
Yeah. And what happens with open G centers, eventually they kind of settle on an identity. And when you walk into space, you can energetically feel people's identities. You can try them on. You can feel if their self-esteem is healthy or if it's not. Energetically, you absorb that when you're in the room with people. And so sometimes we can carry that energy with us. If we live with that energy, that means that they're constantly filling us in. And if our significant other has a good energy that it feels there, that's part of what we seek when we talk about soulmates. We're looking for our energetic person to fill us in. You also have an open throat, which is why you're perfect for podcasting, because you can adjust how you speak to your audience, where someone with a defined throat would be very specific with how they're able to show up. You also have this open energy center around the root, which is a pressure center that says you must get things done. So you like to check things off your list just to get them off your list, which is what you said to me, funny enough, before we started. And it's that pressure is just releasing that. Every time you feel that pressure, just know someone like me that's defined, I ignore that. I know that, that when it's right, the universe will show me it's right. God will provide that sign where sometimes you just need to get that off your list.
Absolutely.
You also have an open solar plexus. So these are, half of us are emotional and half of us are non-emotional. And this is important to know because how we handle emotions has to look different. So the half that are emotional will wake up different every day, sometimes angry, sometimes sad. They have a wave that goes on in the background. You do not. So you wake up the same way every day, so do I. And you also absorb other people's emotions when they have this filled in. So you are an empath. You can feel how other people are feeling. And it can drain you. So just knowing that, I like to think of a white light. When I was a kid, we used to say, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. If I feel an energy that's not good, I will send it back with love. And sometimes I'll be alone in my house and I'll have like this like feeling and I'm like, oh, that's not mine. Because science, we have a quantum entanglement. Once our energies have become connected, they stay connected forever. So this is important for young people when they think about sex. Energies stay connected. And so we want to make sure that we're very particular about those energies that come into contact with us. You do have an open heart ego center as well, which means that you have nothing to prove. 68% of us do. It's inconsistent willpower. 68% of us have inconsistent willpower. We cannot prove something to ourselves. We cannot prove anything to others. You know, when I built a successful business, I wasn't trying to prove I could build a successful business. I was just living my life. When I launched my next company, I was trying to prove that I could make lots of money. It was not working. We are much better off when we are okay with also just honoring. I have a sticky note for myself. Honor your inconsistent willpower. When it's there, drive it. When it's not there, do something to connect to you, to God. To walking in a park will fill you in energetically. Sitting in a coffee shop will give you someone's willpower. But you're not meant to prove anything, so you can let it go. People with your profile, the 2 is your conscious. You're just naturally good at things. And if someone asks you to explain it, sometimes that's a little hard for you. You're just naturally good. Your 4 line is your people line. And we're not sure if you're a 2 or 1, so I'm still on the fence about that for you because you are a good teacher. I know it. So I'm wondering if you're the 1-4, but you have the 4 line unconscious. So your strategy to build a business, your kingdom strategy is people. That's it. You tell people what you need and they will bring it to your door. Now, if you say that that's my strategy, well, that's going to be harder for me. My strategy is a little different. It does depend on our line and how we market and sell. We want to be in alignment with our energy. Now, people open doors for me too, but not like you. And if you walk into the room, the wrong people, wrong time. If you went to a different room with the same person, you might say, I like that person now. I didn't like them before. It's the right room, right person. So the people in the environment really make a difference for whether or not. Does that resonate for you? I see you shaking your head. Yeah. Yeah. I can't tell if you're the 1-4 or the 2-4. The 1 is the foundation, like the researcher, like they're good at teaching other people. The 2 is just naturally gifted. Maybe you're just naturally gifted at teaching.
I am like I was telling somebody, I was like, you know what? I absolutely love teaching. I didn't know that I love teaching the way that I love teaching. And even when God called me to minister, I was like, no, God, it's going to take too much time because, you know, I want to make sure that I'm getting all the learning styles and da da da. And I want to do that. So I'm like, that's going to take a lot. I love teaching.
Well, and what grounds you is this, like the details that really grounds you to have clarity, to have organization of ideas. It's in your earth sign chart, which is funny because I saw that happen when we were, you know, what grounded you is I need you to go into my portal and I need you to have like all those details really matter for you. It makes a difference. And those are the 2 things that we inherit from our dad. Your personality and your earth. So you inherited your gift of imagination and inspiration from your dad. And you also inherited, well, there's some shadows that come along with that. I have this one. It's just in a different place in my chart. We also inherit our greatest vocation, our greatest gift. So when I say I have the gift of hearing someone's heart, that is in my greatest vocation. And for you, I'll have to look up what yours means here. But your greatest vocation, when you live it out, like that essence, your personality is what allows you to open those doors. And so these energy channels that all connect, it's lovely to hear about yourself, but then we start getting into like your channels. So this is the powerful energy that when you show up, simply being you, these energetic shifts happen for people. The first one is rational consciousness. You are constantly pulling out new information from the environment, and you want to have time to process it in its entirety. You think very hard, and your constant desire to get to the inner truth causes incredible tensions in your thoughts. At the same time, you understand it's beyond your strength to emerge from this whirlpool voluntarily. You have all these insights. They're meant to be given to other people. People need to be in your energy simply so they can get insights they wouldn't have if they haven't met you. I have the same channel, so I'm familiar with it. In a crisis, the people want to call you. You resurrect structures, situations, systems. You show up at work at 9 a.m. and you pick up steam at 9:05. You have this very powerful energy that when people are around it, I have this energy too, that you just like connect them to movement and action. Like if someone hires you, they're going to do big things with it. Yeah. And you also seek deep meaning. You're able to ask global questions about the meaning of life, the reasons for the creation of the universe. This is you. You love to reflect and look at these things from such a big perspective, which is why we need more of that energy in our lives.
I resonate with.
So you're a generator, sacral generator. So 70% of the population is going to be a generator. Your strategy is to respond, which means you need something to respond to. The pandemic was a little hard for some of us generators. If we weren't out there online creating something to respond to, the pandemic was very, very challenging. And your gut is what tells you what to do next. Your gut is sort of guiding your way. And if we were to call your profile, we call it the easy breezy genius. You breeze in, you talk to the right people, you share the knowledge, you breeze out. Like 2-4, I'm a 5-1. 2-4s and 5-1s are always friends. We have 2-4s. You don't really see yourself as well. So it's always nice to have someone be able to step in and share who you are because we see you. So this is the human, this is like a little taste of human design. And what we go through then is here's how you unlock your genius. Mm-hmm. Here's some of the challenges that you'll face along the way for unlocking your genius. And we call those the shadows. So the shadow of inspiration is the shadow of psychosis. And psychosis is things that are not true in the world that we pretend are true. Psychosis is everywhere. And that's a challenge that you'll meet over and over again. I have this these are DNA that's in 64 strands. So I have the same one that's just in my spiritual quotient. It also has your IQ, your emotional intelligence. It has age 0 to 9 months in the womb. Here is the gift that God gave you while you were in the womb. And here is the shadow that comes along with the gift. And then it goes 0 to 7. Here's the gifts that God gave for you to cultivate ages 0 to 7. There's a reason we remember things from 0 to 7. That was where my inspiration one is. And for me, 0 to 7, I put 0 and 1 for all my math answers. And I was failing penmanship. Like, little Katie was headed down a very bad path. And mom asked the question. She said, well, did you ask her why? And then we found out I was just bored. I didn't want to do the math. And so we made some adjustments. So that was a psychosis. My teacher thought I was in a low reading group and didn't know math. But the reality was I was actually very exceptionally smart. I just didn't care about her math. And so 0 to 7, I would write songs. I was very inspired. I wanted to be on stage. So that's an important time for us, that 0 to 7 wanting to be there. And then we look at, 8 to 14 is our emotional intelligence. Here's what God gave you to work through in these years. Here's the gifts he gave you to cultivate. Here's the shadows. Here's your IQ that God gave you from 15 to 21 to cultivate. Here's the shadows. And then from there, we have this attraction. We're attracting things. And God gave us this attractor so we can attract the right things. And if we're attracting at the shadow level, we're attracting the shadow frequency. And if we're stepping into that gift and the essence of this divine gift, then we're attracting that in our life. And so getting a full reading gives you a deep insight into, you're going to know it's true for you. If I say something, you're like, that's not me, like, okay. But it always resonates in a way that really allows you to then just say, okay, this is how the Creator made you. Let's unlock these gifts. Let's accept the shadow. The shadow has good stuff in there. And then let's transcend this into what we do next.
Absolutely. Listen, thank you so much. And listen, that's why, look, I'm the kingdom strategist, right? And so, and that's what I do as the kingdom strategist. Everyone know, look, I come into a place and bring forth the order, the structure, and the things that it needs, and that it needs to be in alignment with what it is that God has spoken and what God has mandated for that particular individual or entity. So, absolutely. And then, when you talked about the empath and understanding the prophetic, right, from those in that space, and just move in that space of prophetic, where God gives you those insights of what's happening, what's going on, so that you'll know how to use the other gifts that He's given unto you, whether it's the laying on the hands for healing and things of that nature, right? Or is it for you to stand in a place of intercession to tear down demonic walls, influences in the space of intercession and things of that nature, right? And so, and that's where, all the things, come together with knowing, okay, what do I do with what I'm being provided about an individual, with what it is that, they're going through, how they're feeling and things of that nature, or what have you, their pains and their hurt, shame, and all of those other types of things as well. So yeah, just wanted to, and so it's when you can come into a place of understanding, right? God's design for you. It does allow you to really be able to rule and reign, take ownership of that, and first of all what He's called you to, and also just to move and again rule and reign into your sphere of influence, because we all are very uniquely designed intentionally, because that means that, listen, you're designed, or we're designed, I'm designed to solve a problem in the earth. That only I can do it the way that I do it. You can do it the way that you do it as well. So, even with Katie, just, even listening, to you, with like, I get this great gift of just hearing someone, and then I'm able to give them the information, that they need, so that they can come from, that place of being stuck and things of that nature. And so that likewise, I know there was quite a few things I know you mentioned. You said, oh, we're similar, right? There's some similar things that's there as well. So I absolutely love that. So let's talk about how can people, two things, what do you have? What are your products and services that you have, and what's next that's going on with you, and how can people connect with you?
Yeah. So if you're looking for executive coaching, or you are a team and you want to work better as a team, knowing what your gifts are and your energies are, versus we took the DISC assessment, or we took this corporate assessment and they put us in these boxes. That's when you email me, Katie@owlprofessionalcoaching.com. Let's talk about how we can get some clarity there from an executive coaching perspective. If you're an individual, a parent, if you're a family unit, having an introductory human design call with me is a great way to just shine a light. When I owned a gym, I said one session is all it takes. And I feel the very same way about what I offer now. One session is all it takes. I'm the spark. That's my purpose, is to be the spark. Sometimes what I spark in you is a relationship with me and we do work together. Sometimes what I spark in you is your own rabbit hole of learning this new information about yourselves. And ideally, what I spark in you is an understanding of your energetic system, a way for you to stop denying what you know to be true, and also to put down what others have conditioned you to do. Those open centers are where you're available for conditioning. And we don't have to live that way anymore. It is literally a light switch of just acceptance when you get a chance to experience your human design blueprint and understanding your core gifts and what it is that you're here to do. Even the, am I designed to work better in this environment or that environment? We can tell you. Do you have the gift of touch? We can tell you. And it also gives you a sense of why you like the things you do and being okay with, again, who God designed you to be. So and I'm offering a 50% off for your listeners. There is a discount code, capital HERKINGDOM, all caps, 50% off a human design reading. There's a bit.ly link that'll take you right there with the chance to use the discount code for 50% off. If you have a whole family, we can pull all their charts. It's a really great tool to understand. How do you shepherd your child? Shepherds pick the pasture their kids graze in. So knowing what your child's designed means that you can put them in a pasture where they can grow and thrive versus, telling a fish that can't climb a tree that they're stupid.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what is the bit.ly link?
Yes, it's it's Her Kingdom. That's the link.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the link and the code?
Yes, bit.ly/HERKINGDOM.
And that is all capitalized.
Yep.
Okay.
And that'll take you to the link to purchase it. And then you just use the discount code to get your 50% off.
Okay, got you. Okay, so you go to bit.ly/HERKINGDOM, right, to get to the product. And then once you get there, remember to use the Her Kingdom code, all capitalized, for the 50% discount. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you so much for gifting our audience here as well. Also, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, you can follow me at Owl Professional Coaching on Instagram. You can follow me on Outstanding Women Leaders. I host that podcast over there. If you want to listen to me, if you want to hear more humans talk about their design, you can head over there and check it out. We just released an amazing podcast with a 5-1 projector, Shannon Hale. She talks about owning your story and her biracial identity. So really great podcast if you want to check that out as well.
Awesomeness. You know what? Again, thank you so much for hanging out here with us, Katie, on H.E.R News International. It has been phenomenal hanging out with you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all the time and energy that you give to women building their kingdom. I like to talk to women about their energetic kingdoms, and I cannot get them a process set up to market their kingdom, but I sure can get them in alignment so that when you step in, they are ready to say yes or no to your ideas for the kingdom. So I love the work that you're doing in the world. I hope that you come on the Outstanding Women Leaders podcast and share your story and your work. It's been lovely to soak up your energy for this last hour.
Yes, absolutely. I look forward to hanging out with you I look forward to hanging out with you as well on the Outstanding Women Leaders podcast, hanging out with you guys over there. I look forward to doing that. And so, yes, and thank you so much. It has been, like I said, it's definitely been a pleasure here having you. Listen, we've had a phenomenal conversation on today as we're talking about the power to lead effectively by knowing your design. Man, that was absolutely amazing. So thank you so much for hanging out with us here on H.E.R News International, where it is all things her, where we are educating, equipping, empowering, encouraging, and employing women to move in her purpose, her power, and her passion so that she can proclaim her prophetic destiny. I am your host, Dr. Derashay, the Kingdom Strategist. And if this broadcast has been inspirational to you, I want you to connect with us on our social media platforms at H.E.R News International. I'm sorry, it's not that. Connect with us at our social media platforms at I Am H.E.R International on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also go to our website, www.IamHERinternational.com, to even learn more about our organization. And at this present time, We are currently open for nominations for the 2024 I Am Her International Awards that's going down in Atlanta, Georgia, during Women History Month. So go ahead over there and check us out. Until next time, remember that you are her internationally, right? In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. H.E.R News International is seeking 100 women of faith in the Her Power Her series so that we can let the world know the amazing job that you are doing as you show up in your God-given assignment each and every day. To join the 100 Women of Power, go ahead and visit iamher.fyi/herpower and register today without delay.